Hello everyone. Today I am dealing with the language of justice and equality. So today my goal is that the language of justice and equality, particularly connecting gender and language reform, connects with cultural studies by focusing on how language constructs, maintains, and can dismantle social hierarchies and power dynamics within a society. So, academic information, table of contents, and research question. How does the strategic use of gender inclusive and gender neutral language within international policy frameworks and the national judicial mandate functions as a linguistic instrument of justice, actively transforming gendered power relations and dismantling systematic stereotypes across law, governance, and education, with the hypothesis when language reform becomes an institutionalized mandate as seen in the policies of the UNESCO, and the Supreme Court of India. It not only eliminates overt gender bias, but also reconstructs the ideological foundations of equality and justice. Such deliberate linguistic transformation operates as a catalyst for social change, ensuring that equality is embedded not merely in law or policy, but in the very discourse through which institutions define reality. So, I have divided this presentation in three parts. So, first, language shapes reality, not just reflects it. So, the scientific foundation is gender similarities hypothesis, which debunks the popular difference model, and showing males and females are statistically similar on most psychological traits, and bias is not biological. So linguist Robin Lakoff showed decades ago that the structure of our language already reflects the societal attitudes that women are marginal to serious concerns of life, and the mandate is clear that language must be used to actively challenge these norms, not just reflect them. Then recognizing dismantling bias. So bias operates in our daily lives. We can see in education that studies of Jordanian textbook shows that traditional materials reinforces stereotypes, and proving that simple equality laws are insufficient without linguistic and audit tool. And in the workplace, we can see that Janet Holmes document how everyday gender discourse construct authority and maintaining gender roles regardless of formal policies. This proves we need normalized and actionable rules, which brings us to the UN and UNESCO. So second part is the global policy mandate, UN and UNESCO. So the UN guidelines are the global standard for clarity and inclusion. The mandate three key strategies. First is use non-discriminatory language. So avoid subtle biases. Ensure you refer to both men and women consistently. Then the use of gender neutral words. Replace terms like manpower with staffing, or man-made with artificial or human caused. And then last one is use neutral pronouns and plurals to avoid the generic he. Use plurals like they, or use the relative pronoun who. Then UNESCO's educational and publishing mandates. So UNESCO applies the UN mandate directly to policy and content. The 1999 guidelines on a gender neutral language sets that the precedent for eliminating both ambiguity and stereotyping. In 2019, a gender equality guideline for publication introduced the mandatory 5 steps process. This ensure that publications systematically include gender equality consideration. So here are 5 key steps that use sex disgraded disaggregated uh, data, analyze sex disaggregated data, and use gender inclusive language, use gender balance images, and use gender specific objectives. Then implementing equality in educational management. So this extends to institutional structure. The IIEP means International Institute for Educational Planning report a matter to right and reason shows that women face a labyrinth, means something which is difficult to navigate, not just a clear path to reach senior leadership in educational management. And linguistic reform must be paired with organizational transformation to ensure women who have power in planning and decision making. And last part is the judicial mandate, law and justice. So then the Supreme Court of India's legal directive. This is the powerful legal application. And in 2023 handbook on combating gender stereotypes makes the rejection of bias a core judicial duty. The court explicitly states that relying on preconceived stereotypes contravenes the duty of judges and inhibits the transformative project of the law. The word used by a judge are an extension of justice itself. Then translating policies into practice in the courtroom. So the handbook's most practical features is the glossary of general unjust terms. It provides direct instruction to replace loaded and judgmental phrases like seductress or woman of a loose moral chapter with neutral and accurate legal terminology like woman or a person. So this ensures legal decisions are grounded in facts and law, not outdated cultural prejudice. So here I want to add something that we should not tell boys don't do household chores, but we should tell that everyone should learn and share household works. And another example which is given by sir, that we should not tell that husband helps his wife in a household works, but we should tell that husband shares work with his wife. And in conclusion, the shift towards gender inclusive language codified by the UN, UNESCO, and the Supreme Court of India reflects a unified global mandate to treat language as a tool of justice. This institutional commitment moves beyond more political correctness, translating the scientific finding of the gender similarities hypothesis into externalable legal and policy directives. By systematically demanding the replacement of biased terminology as seen in the judicial glossary and UNESCO's publishing standards. These institutions ensure that the public discourses, education, and the law are actively transformed to challenge stereotypes, uphold the dignity of all individuals, and fulfill the core principle of equality and accountability. So here is my learning outcome and references. Thank you. Please feel free to ask question.
The question is, have you ever noticed a language at your workplace or a school that assume a different role or abilities based on gender?
Yes. Sometimes we see that boys are always considered as a strong or a leader, but girls are considered as beautiful, nice, shy. So I have observed this language at our in our school times also, when we are with our friends.
So, Srishti, my question for you. Can everyday language choices in our life make a difference in challenging gender bias?
Yes, if for example, if we use spouse instead of our wife or our husband, and that words which are not we can say that which are not gendered, that kind of words, if we use, then we can challenge that this biased. So thank you everyone.